We undervalue training. And I know what some of you are going to say. Some of you are going to say, oh, that's because he's in the training business. But that would be similar to someone who's selling FSBO saying, oh, they want us to use real estate because they're in the real estate business. But you know what? Think about this for a second, gang. We're the only industry that we can come in and they teach us a bunch of laws and know how-tos. Don't get me wrong when I say this. Am I right or wrong, though? They teach you real property law, they teach you appraisal, call it whatever you want, but they teach you a bunch of laws. But nobody's taught you the how-tos. We're left out there on our own. And we're the only industry that we don't understand the true value of what training does. Think about this for a second. Doctors, lawyers, dentists, professional athletes, every day they're focused at getting better at their career. And I'm not suggesting you sign up for what I'm going to share with you in a couple of hours. That's up to you. But what I am going to suggest to you is this, is that I would not be here today if it wasn't for the trainers that I hired or invested in my career. Whether it was Dale Carnegie's program, whether it was Floyd Wickman's program, whether it was Mike Ferry's program, whether it was Tommy Hopkins' program, whether it was Daniel Kennedy's program, whether it was every National Association of Realtors convention I could get to, or I wasn't with Coldwell Banker in those days, I owned a Century 21 franchise, don't hold it against me. But every conference I could go, and if I could just learn one thing. Are you with me on that, yes or no? All of a sudden, because one thing, all we need is one thing, and all of a sudden it's an extra 5, 10, 15 grand. So don't ever stop becoming a student for life. Don't ever stop becoming a student for life. I once had an opportunity to sit with Bob Proctor at his house. And I said, Bob, I know you were a big Nightingale Conant fan. He actually worked for Earl and Nightingale when he was 23 years old. This is going back years ago. But I said, out of everything you learned from Earl Nightingale, what is the one thing you think that fundamentally changed your life more than anything else? And Earl said this to him. Every morning, whatever time you're planning on getting up, get up 1 hour earlier and read. Get up 1 hour earlier and read. Whether it's a self-help, whether it's the Bible, whatever it may be, get up 1 hour, dedicate 1 hour, 5 days a week to you getting better at what you do. And all of a sudden he said that that's probably the greatest advice because it opened him up to others and their ideas. And then the fifth most common challenge is no inventory. We are in an inventory business. Always have been, always will be. That's never going to change. Listings are the way to the top. The agent that has the most inventory is the agent that has most peace and balance in their personal lives. The agent that builds the most inventory has the most consistent cash flow. The agent that builds the most inventory, has the most signs out there, are the ones that get the most buyer leads. Are you with me on that, yes or no? There's an old saying that goes like this, old realtors never die, they just become listless. Old realtors never die, they just become listless. So what we need to do, gang, is we need to constantly understand that this is an inventory business. All of the answers to your problems are going to come down to bringing in more listings, booking more appointments. That's ultimately the name of the game. So if those are our 5 most common challenges, what are 10 things then that we can do on a regular basis in order to make those, to overcome your challenges and make those dreams come true? The first of the 10 is that we've got to have confidence in ourselves, in our company, and our industry. And the one thing that I can share with you is this, is that no matter where you go, you're going to hear someone's going to be a critic of real estate. I mean, now they're talking about the next housing bubble. Have you heard of anything so silly in your life? I mean, when you think about it, our news media today isn't about news, it's about selling more papers. Am I right or wrong? And when you listen to the news, they want doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom. And the truth is we should use our news today almost as if it was fiction, almost entertainment. Because they're not painting the right picture. You've got a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about, giving advice on stuff. They make you think they know what they're talking about. I mean, yes, are housing prices in some area of the country starting to pop up quick? Yes, they are, and they should be. Ask me why. Say why, Mark. Why? Why? Because they dropped too far in the first place. Am I right or wrong? Okay, they swung too high. And then in our society, why is this generation, you call it the Viagra generation, call it whatever you want, they all want instant gratification and they follow sheep. I don't understand why they do it, but they do. It swung too high and it swung too low. And I've been saying for a couple of years, you're going to get a 15 to 20% snap back very quickly. But if the house is at 60% of value, that's a 12% increase. Am I right or wrong? You're going to get a 20% snap back very quickly, and then it's going to start leveling off, and we'll come back to a traditional type of market. But that being the case, and I'm not worried about the 10%. You know, I'm more worried about the 90%. What I mean by that is this, is that statistically proven 70% of the people that enter the real estate business will be out within 3 to 5 years. Most of them are out after 3 years. It's just year 4 and 5, they're what we might call the walking dead. I mean, they're out, they just don't know that they're out yet. And then you get the top 10%, which sells 80% of the real estate. By the way, that's a statistical fact from NAR last year. The top 10% did somewhere around 82 or 78%, I forget the exact number. And why is that? Well, I can tell you the top 10%, they have laser beam focus. It doesn't matter what anybody tells them. They go out and make it happen because they believe. They believe that they deserve a better standard of living. They believe and get up every day wanting to bring a better standard of living to the ones that they love. They believe in their industry. They believe that we help within a society just as much as a priest or a dentist or a doctor. They believe in what they do. And they ultimately believe in the company that they're with. See, all of it's for naught. I can teach you all the dialogue, technique, and process. I can teach you how to walk into any listing appointment and walk out with a listing within about an hour. I can teach you the one-stop appointment. I can teach you they can throw every objection at me they want. I can teach you how, if they say they got a friend in the business, show them how to handle that. They want you to do it for less commission. I can teach you how to always get 7%. Oh, are you guys at 7% market? 6%. Okay, well, let me ask you something. Was it ever a 7% market in this neck of the woods? Never that you can remember? Well, how about if I teach you how you get 6%? Because if you're a 6% market, you must have some people taking less than 6. Am I right or wrong? Is that a yes? Yes. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll teach you how to get 6 every time, and if you want to, I'll teach you how to bump that up to 7 and get them to want to pay you for that. If I could do that before the end of the together, would that be worthwhile, yes or no? Yes. Yeah, I'll tell you, a couple of years ago, I had the realtors in Miami going up getting 10%. Said 10%? Said, yeah, absolutely. It's a 6% market every day of the week. I had them going up to get 10%. You know why I did that? I got a call from the Kai's organization, big independent down there, and this is just when the bubble was bursting. He says, Mike called me, he says, Mark, we need your help. I said, tell me what's going on. He explained to me, I said, okay, I know exactly what you got to do. See, in that market, they didn't have a problem getting listings. Everybody wanted to sell. Am I right or wrong? In fact, there were 60,000 condos at one time that was for sale in Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale area. So I'm down and on stage, they got about 700, 800, 900 people in the room, and I said, how would you like me to get your condos sold before anybody else's? And of course they all said, yeah, I'll give you a real yeah man on that. I said, well, here's what you got to do. You got to go out and take them at 10% or don't take them. And they all kind of looked at me stunned and said, well, when people are taking less money for theirs, they're asking us to do it for less what? Am I right or wrong? Share the pain. Am I right? Well, my point was this to them. Well, they weren't going to share you the profit if it was going up the other side, so why do you have to share the downside? They're hiring you to sell a product. not help them with